Are we on? Magic? Did this work? Is that working? I think we're on. All right. What is up, everybody? Good afternoon. Welcome to this NVIDIA earnings live stream reaction, powwow, kumbaya, sing along song thing. Spencer Israel, Stock Market TV. I've got Kenny Glick with me from Hit the Bid. He'll be on. I'll bring him on in a second. Let me make sure we're all good on YouTube before I start. Gotta refresh my page here. I think we're good, right? Chat, give me a thumbs up if we're good. I think we look good to me. Okay, we're good on Twitter. We're good on the YouTube. So I've got Kenny here with me. I've got JC Pretz from All Star Charts. He'll be on in I don't know. We'll bring them both on in a couple minutes. And yeah, so we're just gonna kind of hang out, talk about NVIDIA, talk about the recent action. We'll hang out through the report. We'll watch the initial reaction. Obviously, we're not going to learn like a ton of stuff in like the first 5 minutes, but it'll be worth it just to watch. Just it'll be interesting, right? Just to see what happens. We have a bunch of earnings flying off the shelves right now. I'm seeing Salesforce is just out. I'm seeing a whole bunch of stuff just coming out. Obviously, at the close. I expect NVIDIA will be at 420 Eastern time. If I'm wrong and it comes sooner, great. But that is my expectation. And then we'll just kind of talk about the reaction. We'll pull up the charts. And yeah, JC's here to kind of put all this into context. Kenny's here to say, hey, here's how I'm trading this. Let's make some freaking money. So I guess I should just bring Kenny on, right? Without further ado, chat, how we doing? Are we good? We got a bunch of people here. What? You guys care about NVIDIA or something? Is this like a big deal? I don't know. I guess so, right? Yeah, it matters. All right. I got Kenny live from a hotel somewhere, a nondescript hotel room. Kenny Glick, what's going on, dude?
Hey, what's up, y'all?
Are they talking NVIDIA behind you on the television?
Probably. I heard this company's kind of big now.
Are they?
Yeah. What's shaking? What's shaking, everybody? What a great day today was, right? Got a nice dip and rip, gap and roll, and then a rip and roll, and then just lots of action. This is my favorite market in a long time.
Today was, it's always interesting to watch the reaction as you get closer and closer, or the market as you get closer and closer to an earnings report, right? NVIDIA, had a very sneakily good February until like a couple of days ago, right? Until like what? Like was it last Thursday or last Wednesday was the high of that? Right. And then it's okay. It's up 3.5% today. So I don't know. That's not bad. Not bad.
I don't know if anybody's used the word nothing burger yet today, but I'm gonna say nothing burger today.
I am so with you. The last two reports have been nothing burgers, not in terms of the numbers. They've been huge beats in terms of the market's reaction to them.
Right.
I'm in that camp as well. JC, are you in this nothing burger camp as well? JC, we can't hear you.
Uh-oh, rookie.
It's his first time. Sorry, everyone. It's JC's first time doing this. He doesn't know that you have to turn your microphone on in order for us to hear you.
And if anybody has a Mac out there, teach me how to use screen share. I can't figure out how to get the permissions to show my screen, so I'll just figure it out some other time.
JC's having problems. All right. Well, how about this, JC? When you leave and you come back. Okay, so while we've been talking, this has nothing to do with NVIDIA, but eBay is just out. Snowflake is just out. I mentioned Salesforce; they were just out. So yeah, we got some stuff happening. So like, Kenny, let's start with this. What is your sense, besides it being a nothing burger? Do you like read a lot into like the action today, or it's just one day for you, right?
Well, no, these last 5 days have been really important to me because as a bear, I've been looking for some signs for some real selling, and we're in it right now. So we had the momentum shift. That's what it was. Palantir, Reddit, Carvana ran out of steam, but now NVIDIA could wake the whole market back up. The only thing is, we already had such an oversold bounce that a lot of what might happen, and that's why I'm thinking nothing burger today as far as the action is concerned. There's so much action leading up to this release. You know, we had the deep seek, we had the tech sell-off, we had the comeback, the rips and the rolls. And, you know, again, like a lot of this could be baked in, but if we do explode to the upside, it's going to get everybody, the lazy shorts, like I used to be 10 years ago. I'm no longer a lazy short. I'm a very active shorter. The lazy shorts are going to get punished if they go in, if they're brave enough that they went into this number. So that could be a trigger for a nice little rip tomorrow. If the number is just some blowout, it just absolutely rips their heads off. There's going to be a big short covering rally.
Nope, still no, JC. It's pretty funny. Kenny, this morning when we spoke, you were like, I don't know if cautiously bearish is the right word, because you were bearish, but you were afraid of being wrong, right? That was sort of like
I was recklessly bearish since Wednesday, last Wednesday afternoon. And then when we gapped and failed, then I got really excited about being bearish. But today, you know, again, I'm still don't trust the market that gaps up. That's why I was still looking to short today. But the short happened, and then the market rallied, but then the sellers showed up. So I think that's exactly what we're going to see a lot of in the next, you know, couple of weeks. But, you know, for the overall market, for me, it's the QQQ. So NVIDIA is obviously important. It's obviously, you know, one of the big holdings there. But
I'm glad you mentioned that. I actually have a slide. Well, I shouldn't take credit. It is JC's. Actually, I don't really know where JC got this, but let's bring it up. This is from this morning. Yeah, NVIDIA is a big deal because of this, right? Because it's a big deal because it's big, right?
Sure.
I mean, it's a large weighting in a bunch of major indexes, none bigger than the Qs, right? In terms of significance. So it matters. Even if you like want to be like contrarian and say, oh, it's just one company, it's just one. Yeah, you're right. But it's the most important stock in the sense that it'll move basically the entire tech, mega cap, growth themes. And so by extension, the rest of the market, it'll move it all.
Yeah,
tomorrow,
absolutely.
right?
Yeah. I mean, you know, SMCI was pretty big too. I mean, that was a wonderful trade today. I mean, gap and go, and then you had the rollover, which was, and again, you had a lot of action today on the SMCI within 2 points, and then it finally broke down. So, you know, again, I'm really curious how the market, and what's today, Wednesday. So we got tonight's action, tomorrow's the real reaction to the earnings, and then how this all plays out on Friday. And then we'll see where we're going. And we're still right in the middle of earnings season. Like you said, I mean, we've got a ton of companies still coming out, and they're important companies. You got AI coming out also today. If anybody follows that one, big fan of that one. That was one of the original AI plays, the symbol AI. No, I'm flat going into this number. I covered most of my QQQ short yesterday, but I still have some naked calls out there. I'm leaning. I do something called short strangles. You know, I think the market is going to go sideways for the next several months, maybe even the year. So I sell premium on top and I sell premium on the bottom. So, you know, I've got roughly like 150 point short strangle. So I'm selling, you know, 600s and above, and I'm selling below 420, and I'm just collecting premium as each week goes by. Those are the longer things. But near term, I am completely flat right now, except for Clove, baby. That's tomorrow night. So the market's the real earnings of the important companies tomorrow night.
Oh yes, the important companies like SMCI and Clover Health and C3 AI. It's the three horsemen. It's really what it is. SMCI, I'm sure you know this, Kenny. Pretty much like opened at the high of the day today, or just about, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it was exactly at the open of the high, but it was. It was at stock was at $58. You know, 3:00 in the morning. It went down pretty much all day.
Yeah, it was a pretty good. Yeah, it took a while to finally break down. I think it was the 5250, because I don't have the charts up right now, but I believe once it broke 5250, it got back down to 50. So it's just great trading. I mean, and by the way, I just want to throw a little comment. Do you know why NVIDIA reports at 420? It's not because of the potheads.
So, okay, I'll give you my answer. You give me your answer. My answer is that after the close, pretty much earnings come out. News comes out in 5-minute bands, right? So there's 4:00, 4:05, 4:10, 4:15, 4:20, 4:25 and 4:30, and after 4:30, not much happens. So it's just every 5 minutes there's a deluge of headlines, right? Why is NVIDIA specifically at 4:20? They're not always at 4:20. They've been at 4:20 for the past like 2 years, I want to say. Before that, they were at 4 o'clock. I don't know if there's a reason for it. But it just could just be how they
You're
do
right
things.
there. The reason they changed it to 420 is now that we have all these daily, weekly options now, and they stay live. You could be in a QQQ call till 4:15. At 4:15, they finally get shut off. So there were
Oh,
times where if you were sitting there, let's say with a 5:16 call on the QQQ at 4 o'clock, you're a dinosaur. It's over. You've lost. But if a company comes out like an NVIDIA at 4:05, your options are alive, and you go from a penny and you'll see a 5,000, 500,000% return. It happened to me with Facebook a
damn.
couple of years ago when weekly options were getting going. I had some calls that, just writing them off. And next thing you know, they're ripping and they're up 3 points in the aftermarket because Facebook reported, took the Qs up 3 points. And I went from being a zero to a hero. So that's why they don't want us to play. I think that's what it is. And they put it to 420. So all the at 4:15, it's over. And you got 5 minutes, and that's just my opinion.
I
I don't think they want us to be gambling too much. I don't know why, but
That's a really good thought. I haven't looked into this enough to know, but I do wonder if more companies are moving off of the 4 o'clock, moving away from 4 o'clock, and moving maybe later in the day. I'll have to ask around because that's a very good theory. I mean, it sounds plausible. Anyway,
well,
chat at
uh-oh,
JC. What?
Oh,
there he is. He
JC?
figured it out.
What's going on here?
dude, I got all these haters coming out, be like, thank God we can't hear JC. You understand? I've had to deal all day with accounting and our CFO and like doing business stuff. Like, I've been eating my vegetables all day, getting here, talking earnings, getting my balls busted, right, Kenny? Like this, like you see it.
Oh, by the way, when I walked into the casino, next thing you know, they're like, "Congratulations, Mr. Glick! You are the patron of the day." I thought you guys were playing a joke on me or something. Right? I was looking for like streamers and balloons to come down. I'm in an executive suite. I could fit 40 people in here.
Dude, I wish I could tell you I had something to do with it. I had nothing to do with it.
I've got 2 couches. I got 2 bathrooms.
Yeah, because
It's
think
just
about
like
it.
a
Who
two
the hell
TVs,
in their
two
right
couches.
mind is trying to go to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania in February? Nobody. Nobody.
Yeah. Not a bad looking place.
No, getting work done today.
They got a
You
poker
gotta eat your
room.
vegetables. Dude, I've been eating my vegetables all day. I'm done. I did such a good job. You guys would be so proud of me. Anyway,
Yes.
Thank you.
can we get back to the fun stuff of my job and talk about the markets and not this accounting?
Okay, so
bullshit? Fuck, I hate accounting.
someone asked if we're long NVIDIA. Yeah, in my index funds in my long-term account, I'm permanently always long NVIDIA. I did have a shorter position that I got out of a couple of weeks ago. So at the moment, I guess you could say no, I'm flat. Kenny just said he's flat. JC's doing him, he's flat. Nobody likes going into earnings holding a long position that was always a trade to begin with, right? That's not.
I have old school long positions. It's nothing like super material. I mean,
Right.
I own it.
Right.
A lot of us own it in retirement accounts, whether you like it or not. You're in it. So
Of course.
like all of us have like some kind of long exposure to NVIDIA, whether we like it or not. So we're going in net long into obviously into an important earnings, I think. But I want to, can we just set the stage, Kenny? Because I think this is really, really important. Can you go to the semis thing? I know I appreciate you, Spencer, talking about the weighting that NVIDIA has in a lot of these major indexes, particularly the NASDAQ 100, semiconductors index, et cetera, et cetera. This is, despite all of that, which obviously makes NVIDIA important, where semiconductors are right now further reiterates just how important this NVIDIA situation is. If you guys are right and it's a nothing burger, and I have no idea, I don't get inside information. I wish I did. Maybe I don't wish I did. I don't know, but I got nothing. I got nothing. What I can tell you is that the reaction here and whatever follow through we get on Thursday and Friday, it's going to be really important because these are end of weeks and end of months.
Right.
So into the end of the week. So I'd be the first to tell you if this is dumb and it's a big to do about nothing and this is stupid. I'd be the first to tell you. It's not. It actually matters. It really does.
Yeah, I agree. I just think that it's had so much price movement going into this that it might just be a little muted. That's all I'm saying. But again, I think
that's a win.
Yeah, tomorrow and Friday are going to be really where it's at. But as far as the semis, we got to get out of this range. If we can break out here, then it's going to take everything up.
I think a nothing burger. I think a flat nothing. I think that's a win for the Bulls. This is coming from someone who doesn't give a shit. The market could crash tomorrow. That'd be great. Kenny would be rooting on a market crash too. Spencer would be like, "Oh, we're fucked." Me and Kenny would be like, "You'll be fine. Just do what we tell you, right, Kenny? Right? That'd be fine. I don't care."
Yeah, I wouldn't love it. Yeah, I wouldn't.
No. Me and Kenny would love it though.
These last 5 days have been some of my favorite dates. I love the volatility. I like when we go down. I feel like I'm doing something that most people can't do. I get to showcase my skills. When the market's going up, everybody's a genius, right?
No, Kenny's not wrong. And also, Kenny and I could tell you that we've had some of the greatest successes of our lives. Probably, I mean, I could definitely, for me, some of the biggest losses of my life too. But nevertheless, lessons learned with the wins and the losses in those environments. Would you agree?
Absolutely. So let's get some side action, kids. Let's say knee-jerk reaction is wrong. So knee-jerk reaction will be, I'm going to say knee-jerk reaction down, stock recovers, and then again, winds up. I'm going to say tonight closes at 8 p.m. up $1.80. And then we'll see what happens.
That would
tomorrow.
Be like, what? Like a
knee-jerk reaction down 6 points, rally back, close around up $1.50 to $2.
I should add, last I checked, which was like this morning, the expected move was, I think it was at 10%. It's like $13, 10%, which seems like a lot to me.
So we close up on NVIDIA today, up 3.5% on the day. This chart is really a zoomed out look, which, by the way, if you've ever wondered why we look at so many Fibonacci levels, I mean, these levels were there before the stock did this. Just an FYI, for those of you who've been watching for a long time know that. But if you ever wondered about Fibonacci, when you're in uncharted territory and levels that the market has never seen, you don't have support and resistance. That's a fugazi. It doesn't exist at all.
Down first.
Fibonacci levels is where, right?
I win. Down first.
Wait, wow. So there's a knee jerk. All right, there we go. So knee jerk down 5 points on the number. Now we're back to flat. All right. So and now we're rallying.
I'm a genius.
All right. So NVIDIA now up towards 133.5. 133.5 for NVIDIA. 134 new highs. 134.5 for NVIDIA. This thing is ripping. Kenny Glick nailing it. Get the knee jerk to the downside, and then holy shit, they're ripping them. 135.5. Now for NVIDIA, 135.70. Wow, 136.
Huge size getting gobbled on the offer. That's super bullish right now.
Yeah, that thing is moving. 136.5, 136.25. 136.35 is the current high. Now pulling back a little bit. Okay, so that puts us basically, that's a nothing burger, in my opinion. We're still in nothing burger territory. It's not getting sold off. That's a win for the bulls, for both semiconductors, NVIDIA bulls, stock market bulls, just most humans. This is a positive for most humans thus far. I know that they're going to be talking, saying all kinds of things, so things could certainly change. But from an initial standpoint, the knee jerk and the bounce, it is a massive nothing burger. Well, and so far, option sellers are the winners here. That can change, but so far, option sellers are the big winners.
Tell me somebody just went short at 132.50. Let's go.
In a surprise to literally nobody, NVIDIA beat the street's estimates for the EPS and the revenue, which is that's what they always do. Right?
Boom! It's negative. In your face.
So down to 126. Down to 126, 126.5.
Get the hell out right now.
That continues to keep it in the nothing burger. All right. So what's the definition of a nothing burger? Definition of a nothing burger is somewhere between 124 and 140 is kind of nothing burger land. Below we start getting below 120, things start getting a little hairy.
That was awesome.
This is nothing.
Well,
Here,
132.50 just got you 127.50, so that was something burger right there.
John Smith in the chat just made 5K on his Nasdaq futures trade.
Listen, the day traders are having a ball. Knock yourself out, kids. For me, I'm looking for real positioning. I'm looking for, if you want to go back to that semiconductors, while this thing dances around and does nothing.
Hey, that dip was just bought hard, so this is great. This is great action. This is like SMCI all over again. I love it.
This is a win for, if this stays in this range, it's a win for the bulls. And again, to reiterate that these head and shoulders tops, these like topping formations, more often than not are not that. They're actually just continuation patterns. So there is a very high likelihood, or I should say very high, there's a higher likelihood that this resolves higher than lower, which makes the implications of a downside, completion that much more impactful on the overall market, just because it's a lower probability outcome that this completes. If it does, we'll worry about it then. So far, it has not. And this action in NVIDIA further reiterates that this is not yet a breakdown in semiconductors at all.
Am I exactly right? I mean, are we up like $1.80 now from the close? About $1.80, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So yeah, the earnings were positive as they compared to estimates. The guidance was also good. It was above estimates there. They guided for revenue for the current quarter of $43 billion, plus or minus 2%, compared to a $41.5 billion estimate. Everything pretty much came in above the street estimates. Data center revenue up 16% quarter over quarter and 93% year over year. Dear freaking Lord, it's hard to wrap your head around these numbers. Their full year revenue is up 140% year over year. And that's kind of the big story. I mean, I don't really want to talk about gaming or automotive because at this point, this is a data center company, right? So the rest of the stuff just doesn't really matter all that much.
I'm really waiting for them to update their position on RXRX. Is that a rumor? I heard NVIDIA was investing in this pharmaceutical company. Is that true? Does anybody know about this?
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, I can look real fast for you. I've got ways. But let's see.
Yeah, somebody emailed me, asked me my opinion on it. I was like, why would NVIDIA buy a pharmaceutical company? But I don't know. There was something to it. Maybe they'll update you.
So again, up 1% on NVIDIA here in the after hours, I think is a huge, huge win. I can't emphasize that enough. And like I said, guys, you're talking to somebody who doesn't give a shit and will be the first person to tell you this is dumb, this is blown out of proportion, it doesn't matter as much. Here's what I will tell you. In other instances for NVIDIA earnings in quarters past, it has been that, where it's just like the biggest event in the history of the stock market, but the reality was it wasn't that big of a deal. I think this one is. I do. I really do. How do you feel about that, Spencer? Like, you know me. You talk to me every day. God bless you. But you do, right? Like me telling you it's a big deal. Like I don't always say that.
No, for sure. Also, I'm being corrected in the chat that the options, the implied move was 8.5%. I guess it went down today. I said I looked this morning and it was 10. But it obviously went down as the day went on. No, you're absolutely right, and I commend you for not like doing this just to do this. Like you don't care about this earnings report in a vacuum. Actually, you don't really care about it at all, but you do care about the reaction as it relates to the overall market.
Yeah,
because it's NVIDIA. If we were to pivot right now and I would say, JC, let's talk about this earnings report from Snowflake or eBay or Salesforce, you wouldn't give a shit, frankly, right? But because
I'll tell you what, I cared about the Home Depot ones for similar reasons, right? Home Depot is very vulnerable to break down. The fact that it didn't is a big one. Right. The Nike situation as well. Like there's certain things that a volatile event could really change the dynamics of structural trends, and semiconductors are currently there. I wouldn't say NVIDIA specifically is that, but because of its representation in semiconductors in general that are potentially very vulnerable to a breakdown, and the implications there for the overall market is real. And I'm here to tell you that it's actually important. This isn't like, oh, ignore it, it's dumb, we're so smart. Like, no. Like this actually matters, I think.
Well, just out of curiosity, what
I
was
think the
that?
most important thing is if it holds this slight little gap tomorrow. Because if it gives it up and you break under 125, we're gonna get hammered. And I think I'm kind of rooting for that to happen, but
All right, so let's okay. So we talked about this. We said a nothing burger is a W for the bulls in NVIDIA, in semis, and in the overall market and humans in general. So far, it's that. Okay. Options buyers lost. Standard operating procedure there, as usual.
Yes.
The sellers win again. Okay. Now that we have that out of the way, at least for now, and it looks like likelihood is that continues until tomorrow. Now, you specifically, Kenny Glick, and for those of you listening out there, is like, JC and Kenny are very different. Like, why are they such good friends? Like, first of all, we're good friends because we hang out. We're good at happy hour, right? Like, we're like two of the greatest that ever did it. First of all,
professionals.
Professionals at happy hour. We're so good at it and have been for a long time. True veterans of the industry. So, in addition to all of that, Kenny's approach to the market is so complementary to anything that I do personally and a lot of the guys around here, because Kenny is, first of all, only mean reverting in nature. So in other words, taking things that are bought very aggressively and selling them, things that are being sold very aggressively and buying them. I love that. That's not my approach. Most of the things that we do are more trend following in nature, looking for positive momentum, going with trends. Kenny's the exact opposite. So not only is it complementary from a directional standpoint, we're much more trend following, he's much more mean reversion, but also the time horizon is also very different. Kenny is very specifically by rule intraday or over a day or two, while we are looking weeks and months, right? Very different.
Unless otherwise indicated, yeah. Sometimes I own stuff. Yeah.
Who is it? Hey, I day trade too, right? But that's not really the bread and butter. So I really like that about Kenny a lot. And also how simple the approach is. It's not like this complicated black box algorithm that only like Kenny and his craziness understands. Like, it's not that at all. It's very simple. 1, 2, 3, right? So Kenny, someone like yourself, talk about an introduction. That was pretty damn good.
Thanks.
But with that in mind,
by the way, thank you for complimenting a hat. I love this hat. I got this at Shakedown Street, Vegas. It's hard to find this one.
Shakedown Street.
I don't even want to know.
How are you approaching? So from your perspective, right, kind of laying that down so people understand the difference. How are you thinking about when you wake up tomorrow? What's the first thing you're going to do?
I'm going to hope that NVIDIA is up big so I can slam it, just like Kava. So yesterday when I saw Kava selling off, I didn't want it to start off down because I wanted to short it today when I came in this morning. And luckily it was in the hundreds when I walked in. And for me, that was an easy short, especially when it break VWAP. And again, I'm a specific VWAP trader. And right now, NVIDIA is glued to the VWAP. We've done fluctuating now. You had your up, you had your down, now you're at the mean right now.
So you wake up tomorrow. What time do you normally wake up, out of curiosity?
I get up at around 7. I'll have my 16 cups of coffee, and then by 7:30, I'm plotting my attack. And usually, I want to wait till 8 because that pre-market volume doesn't really start kicking in until about 8 p.m. And then that session is again the session between 8 and 8:30 is one thing, and then you have economic data at 8:30. Sometimes that throws a monkey wrench into what we're doing here. But then there's the open, and then there's the fade. So that reversion trade at the open. That's just the fade. And as Spencer once said, if you ain't fading, you ain't trading. So
I didn't say that.
That was Spencer who made that up.
That was not me.
Okay, I'll give you the credit for it. It's good. It's a good one.
Come on, man. That's got Dennis Dick.
I never heard it before you said it. That was good. I love it.
No, a lot of people do say that. That's hilarious, by the way.
If you're not
okay,
fading,
so then what
trading.
if let me ask you this. So you wake up tomorrow and it's exactly where it is right there, pinned at 131.
Then I just let it breathe. I want to wait 15 minutes before I even think about doing something. Those opening 15 minutes, you'll probably get a repeat of this chop, and then it'll resolve itself. And then it's about these aftermarket sessions, this aftermarket highs and lows. If we stay inside, so right now 136.60 to 125.10. If we stay inside there, it's going to be hard to make a decision. But once we start getting a tighter range and a new type of like. Right now, the range is that monster move. So now we're getting this tighter range. VWAP will reform tomorrow at 4 o'clock in the morning. And again, we do have a little trading going on throughout the night. really doesn't count. So VWAP takes that stuff into consideration, but it's very low volume. So when the volume starts coming at 8 o'clock, what I do is I look at the action from tonight, and then I overlay that with the action for tomorrow, and then I see where the ranges are. And then sometimes the easy trade is if this thing's gap, let's say it opens up at 127.50 and you're breaking 125, it's easy going to 122.50 and maybe going to 120. And also, coupled with whatever NVIDIA is doing, and by the way, you finally did roll a little bit here. Whatever that stock's doing is I go right to the daily options on the Qs, because as NVIDIA goes, chances are the Qs are going, and there you can get right in there, with your daily options right at the money. And by the way, we're giving away right now. So that 127.50 is going to be big on this next leg down here. But
NVIDIA is down a whopping 1.5%.
Right.
Yeah,
I
no,
mean, we kind of nailed it. Again, that all that action that happened into this number is why I think we're seeing this, because I mean, it's been all over the place. It's absolutely incredible.
So let me ask you this, Kenny. So Broadcom is flat. Semiconductors as an ETF are flat. Qs aren't doing anything. NVIDIA is pretty flat. All right. So let's say tomorrow you wake up and it's right here. There's nothing to do. Like in a perfect world, it's ripping and you could just fade it all day. Great. Well, let's just say that's not the case, because chances are that won't be the case. How do you approach the day? You just forget it completely and look elsewhere?
I will definitely be looking at it all day. It'll definitely be in this corner of my screen the entire day.
Why? Let me ask you this. Why? Just because of reported earnings? Or
because as that stock goes, so goes the Qs. And I'm a huge QQQ trader.
Right,
so I trade the daily options on the Qs.
But do you watch it every day like that, or more specifically tomorrow?
What do you mean? What'd you say?
Like, do you have it on the corner of your eye always, every day, because you trade the Qs, or more specifically tomorrow?
No, just specifically tomorrow. I mean, I got NASA Command like we all do in the house, so it's always on somewhere on my screen. But tomorrow it'll be prominent on the market maker boxes. I want to see the ebb and flow. I want to see the orders going in. I put it on I have a block scanner also. I want to see the big blocks going in. Who's bidding this thing, and again,
how many scanners do you need? How many scanners does one need, Kenny?
4 scanners. I am Scan Man. I have the scanners you need. But it's really just it's a big block scanner. It's searching the dark pools for those 50,000 share blocks, 100,000 share blocks. And when the market opens at 9:30, I scan for 100 contract minimum entries. So I want to see what the big guys are doing. And then of course it always comes back to VWAP. So if I'm seeing huge volume coming in, but it's still below VWAP, I'm not going to take it too serious. But huge volume breaks VWAP, I'm long. And listen, as a bear, I would love to see it gap up and roll over and I crush it. But I have no problem if this is down 2.5 points tomorrow and it breaks VWAP. Oh man, no short is going to want to be short the stock if it gaps down and gets bought. Then it has a chance to organically rip from there, and you're going to have a monster move, and that's going to take the whole market up. So it really is about this opening gap. And just like I said, this action tonight, tomorrow when I wake up, I go right back to see where the VWAP is. I'll see where what the charts are telling me. Then you look where the volume's coming in, and then again and also there is so much going on.
Kenny, these are your lines on my chart, by the way.
What do you got?
This blue and the orange. That's
okay.
You.
Yeah, I mean, we're still trapped in the main 2 big candles. This has not broken one way or the other. So, tomorrow could be that bigger move. We'll see. But, again, the going back to options, again, I've been trading options since pretty much 30 years. There was a time where you only had 127.50 and then you jump to 130 and 132.50. Those levels are still going to come into play tomorrow, and you're seeing it right here. So again, that's what I'm going to be looking. I'll be looking at those 130, 127.50s.
So Kenny, correct, and stop me at any time, but essentially what you're looking at, you're looking for big volumes tomorrow morning, and you can see that through the different blocks that are coming through. And then whenever there's earnings, you just assume there's going to be big volume too, right? So it's not just the earnings, but it's also the blocks. And then from there, you'll come up with 4 to 6 names that you're looking for in the day. Are there any names that you already know you're going to be looking at tomorrow outside of NVIDIA?
Oh, of course. I'm looking at CRM always. CRM. This is the only day of the year I trade CRM. There's something about that stock. I haven't had good luck with it, but on earnings, when the earnings is the reason earnings is so special to me is that there's more volume, more better. I'm a VWAP trader. That's what the V stands for. So when there's more volume, there's more chance of follow through. And when you have the VWAP break on a stock, you know, just like the Kava today, you know, as soon as it broke that VWAP, boom, you're shorting that thing. So I'll be looking at CRM. I think eBay came out, AI came out. If you guys remember AI, it's like almost like a forgotten stock. It started the AI craze.
Yeah, so AI is down 5.5% right now. This is C3 AI, and then also Salesforce is down 4.6%.
Right, and you know, there's usually 7 names at least. You know, let me show you if I can get it off the top. I hope I don't break anything here by switching the screen here. But yeah, so it got Snowflake, you got CRM, you got AI, you got IonQ, which is was the leader of the quantum move. So I'll be definitely looking at IonQ. You had Joby, which was you know, came out of the Andy Dufresne not too long ago. So that's important. IonQ is getting slammed on earnings. So, and again, I'm very, you know, not as bearish as I was 2 days ago, but tomorrow I'm gonna, you know, I'm got the bear suit on. And if NVIDIA gives this up, and all the earnings look like they're kind of weak right now, except for Snowflake. I think that was ripping. So, you know, if NVIDIA gives it up and then Snowflake starts giving it up, oh, I'm going to be hammering the Qs. And if we break yesterday's lows, which is 509.85 area, we're going to give way for at least seven more points. And that's where I think we're going. I think we're testing the 495 on the Qs, and I think all these stocks are going to give way. Again, I'm negatively biased, of course, but, you know, I'm, like you've been saying since you met me, I'm the most bullish bear you've ever met, because I learned my lesson so hard. I got punched in the face for 3 years, and I wouldn't give up.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you think or want. Like, it's not, the market doesn't care what you think or want or what you think things should be. By the way, IonQ, just an FYI, down 13% currently. NVIDIA basically just flat. So Spencer, can you tell the folks where they can get Kenny's watch list every morning?
I can. Yeah, Kenny, don't forget Clove and Clove and Soundhound tomorrow as well, after the close. Listen up. If you actually want to get down and dirty in these reports in the after hours, in the pre-market, get down and dirty with Kenny. He does this stuff, as he said, during earnings season. Well, he does it every day anyway, but especially during earnings season, because that's when the most volatility is. Hitthebid.com. Actually, not hitthebid.com. I just put a link in the chat, and it's in the description. And if you're watching on our site, you just scroll down, literally just scroll down. You'll see what I'm talking about. To join Hit the Bid and get into Kenny's room. When you join, you will not only do you get access to the room, you can see his screen, you can see his scanners, you can see his charts, you can trade along with him. And if that wasn't enough, you will get Kenny's VWAP script that he either wrote or co-wrote. Unclear to me exactly, Kenny, who gets credit for this script, whether it was you or a few people, but you were involved regardless.
Right. We could say it's Solid Jello's script now.
All right.
He's reverse engineered it.
Sure. Kenny co-wrote. We'll say Kenny co-wrote it. You get that script, that same script here. If I bring up my charts again, these lines, the blue and orange line, that's Kenny's indicator that I have on my chart. You can get it too. Very simple.
And the most important thing, what you get is both sides of the trade. So what I do in the morning is I set you guys up. You know, some people don't like to short stocks, which is insane, but some people are just biased to the bull. So what I do is, after all this chop and, you know, the ups and the downs and the ranges get formed and the VWAP and the prior day VWAP, we have the 1 minute, we got the hourly, we've got the, you know, the prior day VWAP. Some people anchor it to the last earnings report, which I love. I love Brian Shannon doing that. The 3-month VWAP, basically just want to take a look what the VWAP is from the last report, you know, a big event like that. And then what I do is, in the morning, I set you up. So I said, if this stock breaks here, it's going to go here. And then a lot of times, just like Kava today, we killed it on that short, but then it became an equal and greater long, and then it became a short again. And that's what I'm always doing this live. I never stop talking, which is, I do drink about 6-7 cups of coffee. So I'm going from about 8, you know, I'll start chopping up those charts and showing people around 7:38 in the morning, especially during earnings season. But then you got me. You know, I'm doing this from 8 in the morning till 12 live, and you'll see it. You'll see what I'm doing. You'll see the charts. And again, I only trade 3 or 4 of those names. It's impossible to trade them all. But then, you know, later in the day, speaking of algorithms and coding, our friend Solid Jello, who's just a dear friend of mine, I showed him all this trade, and, you know, Brian and Zach Hurwitz and all the VWAP, and he's taken it and ran with it also. So in the middle of the day where I don't do too well with the intraday sideways chop, he does. And he's really good at it. So I just put him on the air and he shows you what he's all about. And it's just a nonstop, can I use the word symposium? It's a symposium of VWAP and trading for basically 8 hours a day. We never stop.
Someone in chat asked if this is a class. It's every day.
It's every day.
Every day the market's open.
Well, really, and can I speak to that? Because that I will tell you, because obviously if you, maybe not obvious to somebody who's new, but if you've been around the market, you know, for a lot of the day, there's not really much going on, which is why Kenny focuses on that early action right at the beginning of the day. As Kenny likes to say, make a day's pay and then see what the market gives you from there. So a lot of that is really talking about the system, talking about the implications of the system, the potential setups, right? So it's really an educational class. That's how I look at it. Like Kenny's just thinking out loud. Kenny's like his own therapist, right? Is that pretty accurate, Kenny?
Bro, that's so sick, because that's what we were talking today. Because I talk through my trades. So that's why I'm talking. So as I'm in the trade, I'm trying to think, all right, so what are the longs thinking here? What are the shorts thinking here? What are the algos going to do? And I'm just sitting there having a conversation with myself. And if you were in the other room, you'd just think I'm insane, because I'm really just talking. And then when I'm not even on mic, I'm just sitting there talking to myself. Because if you're not putting yourself through that process, if you don't know why you're buying, where you think it's going to go, and what you're going to do if you're wrong, you're going to lose. So I like to just talk out loud, and that's why I run these rooms. And I've been running rooms since 2007. Even before that, if you remember AOL chat rooms.
What was I about to say? Shoot, I just had a thought. Someone asked if you trade futures, Kenny.
Yeah, futures are phenomenal because and if you trade VWAP, absolutely. I only trade futures when I can't sleep, usually. Or there's some sort of monster event, like I remember the last time there was like a coup in Turkey and the market was going nuts in the middle of the night. I just happened to be up and it was crazy. But yeah, I like, and I only trade NQ futures because that is the Qs. And again, you cannot, right now, you can't short in the overnight session with all these 24-hour stocks. They won't let you put shorts on. So the only way you can short is if you want to trade some futures. So NQ, yeah, the NQs, that's what I'm all about. I love them. And it's very cutting. It's you don't have the market makers, you don't have CEOs, it's just numbers. And when that's the way we trade, price, numbers, VWAP, it's phenomenal. And if you want to, I'll show it to you, in the pre-market, but usually we stick to the stocks, and I love options, but you can trade NQs and ES and all that stuff.
Kenny, can I ask you this? We talk all the time, and you talk about the Qs, like in the levels of the Qs, but you're talking about the Qs in terms of like 500, 508, right? There's 7 points to the downside. You're talking specifically about the Qs, but then you have the option to trade the futures. You never quote the futures. Like you always think of it in terms of Qs.
I do. Yeah. I actually, yeah. Only time I'm looking at those futures prices is when I'm just trading the futures. Everything's QQQ price in my head. Because again, I've been trading them really since inception, which is crazy to say,
And no more diamonds. You never trade the diamonds anymore. You were the only person, guys. I don't know if you guys know this, but Kenny Glick was literally all of the volume every day in the diamonds. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. But like, you know what it was? That was when we were on our way to Dow 20,000. I just wanted to be a part of it. That was what I was rooting for. And, that was one of my craziest calls when I got Dow 20,000 almost to the week. I called it like 2.5 years in advance. And then we were there. I was like, oh my God. And then we flirted with it by like $1 and we didn't hit the 20,000. But yeah, I haven't traded the diamonds since, because they're kind of illiquid. The options are awful.
No, I know. The Qs are so much better.
Yeah.
And the ES, either way. So, all right. Guys, listen, I love Kenny more than anybody in the world, whether he was a good day trader or not. I just like hanging out. So if you like to trade and you like to hang out, I mean, man. And I really, again, getting back to the strategy, for me, so complementary to anything that I do. And I know I can speak on behalf of most traders and investors. This is very complementary. You do a good job of explaining it. It's not a complicated strategy. Right?
And listen, again, we're all about charts, and I was showing that at your event. If you could conquer what happens in the day, you're just expanding it. So it's really just, it's ebb and flow, support, resistance. It's all the same. But if you could conquer it on a day, you could expand that to 2 days, a week, a month. I just don't like to speculate as much. And, as a bear that's trapped in a perpetual bull market, the only way I can sort of be bearish is just don't really have a big portfolio. My portfolio consists of crap right now. I've got the Palantir, but I mean, I love the Palantir, but I got Clove, Sedge, Palantir, and Lunar. Oh God, Kathy Wood, she ruined my Lunar, but Lunar woke up today. But yeah, I mean, to me, when I'm a more like, see the money, take the money guy. That's what I love about the trading. And again, when you're a day trader, you have to think of it as a job. So if this is your job and somebody hands you $600 like we did in Kava, and no joke, the trade was 90 seconds today. A couple of 100 shares, 300, 400 shares, wham, slams down 3 points. And you're like, wow, most Americans have to work 2 or 3 days for what we just did in 90 seconds. And it's great that we have that luxury, that we can do that. We have the skill set and we have the opportunity to do that. And then it's fantastic. I mean, it really is. And I'm just, it's nice to be around people too. That's why I love running the chat room. So I'm not just alone. I love the camaraderie and I love helping people. I'm a natural teacher. My whole family comes from teachers. So I just love showing this stuff. And again, I like converting investors, except my father. He's like, the funniest thing my dad ever said. He's like, so let me get something straight. You just bought $513,000 worth of a stock to make $80. What's wrong with you? And I was like, but that's day trading, Dad. I made the $80. He's like, you're an idiot. Just buy the Qs. I'll see you in 3 years. And by the way, my dad was looking to buy the dip the other day. He's 82 and he's still buying the dip on the Qs. He loves it.
Love it. I love it. I love it.
Unbelievable.
All right, listen up. If you're watching on Twitter, I replied to this tweet with the link. If you're watching on our site, scroll down. If you're watching on YouTube, go into the chat or description. Those links will get you into Kenny's room at the special offer, quarterly or annual. And he's there. Like I said, every day the market's open. Days with no market, no Kenny, right?
Yeah, and I work from home, so even when I'm sick, I'll crawl in and give you a couple hours, no matter what, as long as I could speak. So
I'm happy I got to have a nice little conversation about the market. It was a long day eating vegetables with our CFO doing business stuff. I got to do some fun stuff with you guys. So thank you, Spencer and Kenny. And thank all of you for joining us.
You're welcome. Final tally, at least for now. The conference call starts in 10 minutes. I know you're all going to be watching that.
By the way, CRM, who just mentioned that? That's the faux show, bro. Wonderful.
Breakout, shakeout, breakout, right?
Yeah, we would have been all about that. Yes.
CRM got cracked.
This one we would have been buying, again, after the faux show, bro, and the range break. Yeah, we would have been in around 291 for a nice 18-point trade. Wow. Holy cow. That's a huge move. All right. Yeah, see, that's more exciting. That's more exciting than.
Wait, so here, I'll show you right now. This is what Kenny would have seen, more or less, on his chart, right?
Right, and you see where, again, I know you can't see my screen, but you see where you got the big fall, the rally, and then it came back and broke that low, but then it came back. I'm a range trader, so when you started to base out and it broke the top of that base, that range, that's when you look for the reversion back to the VWAP. So our entry probably would have been about 292.50. And we would, again, we wouldn't have held the whole move because I sell into the moves. 292.50. I'm a seller at 295, 297.50, 300. But fantastic. That would have been a couple of days worth of money there. So
very nice.
Again, love this time of the year. My favorite time. And again, you're never ever going to have the fear of missing out with me because there's always another trade, and that's the one.
Always another trade. All right, we got to hop. Kenny, thanks for hanging out. Everyone, if you're watching on YouTube, I would appreciate it if you just hit the thumbs up. That does help us. And if you don't want to, I want to hold it against you, but it'd be nice. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out, Kenny. Thanks, JC. I think he's gone. We'll see you guys when we see you. Join, hit the bid, and you'll make some money. All right.
Yeah, if you guys want to hang out, we're in there now. My boy Solid's probably going to be talking for a little while, and then I'll be there. I'll try to log in tomorrow morning, and then tomorrow night we do an options session at night. We have a couple of cocktails. It was born out of COVID. We were all trapped in our homes. So if anybody's interested, contact Spencer. We'll get you the link. Tomorrow night, I play the Grateful Dead. I do a show in history from that day in history. There weren't many shows at the end of the year. The boys didn't play a lot of shows at the end of February, but I'll probably do something from March. 6 to 8, we play some tunes, and then from 8 to about 9:30, we crunch some charts, talk some options, and every once in a while I have a live DJ coming on to end the night. So,
all right, any questions? Just email me. I think my email is on the screen. I will respond to you if you email that address. Yeah, a word of warning: if you join Kenny's room, he may make you want to quit your job and trade full time. I swear to God, nearly happened to me. So,
nobody quit their job.
Adios, guys.
All right, I'll see you guys.